Welcome back to the Deep Dig Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew. My other host right over there.
What's up? It's D. Good to see you again. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Drop some comments below. Let us know your thoughts.
Today we are talking Christian Wilkins getting released by the Raiders. And do you have the contract details from that?
So this comes 1 year after he signed a 5-year, $110 million contract with the Raiders. To me, it seems like it kind of comes out of left field. I just don't think we have all of the information at hand when it comes to their decision to make this move. I mean, they're saying it's due to him not rehabbing his injury, but there was a video that came out a couple of days before this and before training camp even started where he was out of the walking boot with his foot injury. So I don't know, really weird situation. Do you have any context to that?
Well, here's the video of him dancing at the facility without his walking boot. And I mean, it seems like he's having a great time being like he's getting big checks for not having to play on the field. So I don't know why.
It's not crazy. Like I don't think again, I think that shows like, okay, yeah, he's healthy. He doesn't have the boot on. I don't see what's wrong with this video. I know people are like trying to trash it, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with this. If I'm going to be completely honest, there's a guy having fun. He's living life. He's about to go to NFL training camp. And then you're going to cut him because he's not rehabbing it correctly. I mean, he's already out of the boot. He doesn't look like he has a visible limp. Like, things look fine to me.
Well, I don't know all the details on the foot situation, but I think there was some sort of surgery they wanted him to have, and there was a dispute there. But he only played 5 games. He had $35 million guaranteed that they're trying to get out of remaining on his contract. And then they leaked that there's a incident that happened with another player that is part of why they're getting rid of him, and they're not disclosing that. And then you had this post where John Feliciano said, "Brother always been a little freaky." So reportedly an incident with the teammate that led to the release. You got I'm guessing Feliciano was a teammate of his at some point if he knows that he gets a little freaky in the locker room. I don't know.
Feliciano's also just a shit talker, if we're going to be completely honest. I think he's just a troll. So I don't really take it all to heart, if I'm going to be completely honest on that. I think we're going to see, as we kind of go forward with this, there's going to be more details leak. I think that they're going to really kind of get down to business as far as why this took place, what was the thought process in it. I don't think we have the full story.
A kind of rolling stories come out about this, and he's gonna pursue the grievance with the NFLPA to try to get some of this money. And I was listening to Florio talk about it, and they're like, well, if you're the Raiders, there's no penalty for you going to fight with him about not paying him. At worst, you ended up paying him the $35 million that you owe him, but best case, you end up settling out with him and you pay a little bit less, and you're winning in either situation. You're like, he's going to fight us either way on this. We get rid of him for whatever reason. Maybe he doesn't fit with the team. He's not a culture fit. I don't know. Or that the injury thing, they think he's playing it up and not performing when he could have went out there and played. We don't know what the specifics are, but we know that the Raiders are comfortable going and saying, hey, fight for this money and maybe we'll cut a deal with you.
It's weird. It feels like classic Raiders. It feels like Raiders from a couple years ago when everything was going south, as far as like Antonio Brown has his feet blasted off in the cryo chamber. John Gruden has all these things going on. Chandler Jones is out there doing Chandler Jones things. Like, it feels like that Raider organization, and like certain organizations just have a stink to them, and the Raiders never really kind of get rid of that stink. They just keep having it on them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and it's at a time where they're trying to turn a new leaf with Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, Max Crosby is a solid leader, it seems like, in that locker room. And so I think the Raiders definitely just want to brush this under the rug, move forward as much as possible, as fast as possible, and try to get it resolved because, well, they don't want to get it resolved quickly because that would mean they're paying him out. They're going to drag out that situation, but I think they wanted...
Yeah, and again, if they go out there and Pete Carroll and Geno Smith end up winning some games early, like, this immediately knocks that out. This is like, okay, this is not in the discussion anymore. what ended up happening with what happens with this Raiders teams over and over and over again is the off the field incidents are the only thing that you can talk about because they're not good, because they go out there and they lay stinkers week in and week out. So you have to talk about what the train wreck is that is the Raiders organization. But, with this, can they make this move, win a few games early, get this kind of like, okay, this is in our backseat. We're moving forward. We're about winning. We're changing the culture here. I did like the move. I like the move of getting Pete Carroll. I like the move of Geno Smith, and I know people were saying that that's a lot to give up. Basically, you traded Jalen Milroe, who the Seahawks ended up getting for Geno Smith. I think it's a fair trade. I think it honestly. I think Jalen Milroe has a lot of work to him. I think drafting him high, you're really settling for a guy that isn't pro ready. Geno Smith is a guy who can be a top 8 quarterback in the league on his best day. On his worst days, I think that he can be like, I think bottom out at like 15, 16. Like, it's still a pretty good quarterback. It's a pretty sizable quarterback no matter what. And you just need to take a page out of the Browns, but you need an adult in the room. You know what I mean? You just need
Yeah,
someone
it's
that is going to get in there and do their thing and be a NFL caliber quarterback, and Geno Smith has that.
yeah, it feels like, hey, we got Pete Carroll, we got Geno Smith. Let's set a trajectory of the next 3 years and really course correct this franchise. Let's try to stabilize the organization, and then from there we'll figure it out. Because I don't see Pete Carroll being there long term. I don't see Geno Smith being there long term. I think this is our best option to try to be a functional organization for once. Now let's get some talent in here, because I'll still say the defense side of the ball outside of Max Crosby is not great. I think
No.
they could still use more weapons on the offensive side of the ball. They have a long way to go, especially in that division where you have the Chiefs, you have the Broncos. Broncos are just going to be better. I think the Chargers are going to be better, even though they're a little overhyped, in my opinion. But you're at the bottom right now, and you need to do something to show that, hey, we're going to try to compete at some point. And right now it's looking like, okay, maybe they can, steal a couple games here and there. And if we can land a quarterback in this next draft to build up for the future, then I think they're on a good path.
And honestly, I think it's something that we've seen from the Seahawks in the past where it's like, okay, everyone in the division is really good when it was the NFC West of a couple years ago. And it's like, okay, everyone is doing this one thing in the AFC West where it's they have a young quarterback, they're airing it out. We're going to zig when everyone else is zagging. Everyone has these stud quarterbacks that are airing it out. We are going to be a run first centric team that has a quarterback that we know if we can let him loose, hey, cool, we can do it. But really, we're going to play defense. We're going to run the rock down your throat. And then when you get tired of that, we're going to play action and put it over the top.